And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. It's that proud Black woman here again. And thank you so much for tuning in on this live show once more. You know, as I do every week, every Saturday, I bring you fantastic speakers, and they've been blessing us from their wealth of knowledge. So thank you so much for tuning in. Today, you already know who it is. I brought you the most amazing person ever that you can meet. So her name is Nene Akintan, and she's an entrepreneur, mentor, speaker, author, realtor, advocate, and more importantly, God's unique creation. So, Nene grew up in a family of hardworking folks who modeled integrity, compassion, and a spirit of excellence throughout their lives. Nene embodies these qualities as an exceptional leader and excellent strategist. Nene has a BSc Sociology and Anthropology, an MBA Marketing, and an MSc Management and Human Resources. Nene started a career at 25 years ago in a banking and transitioned into entrepreneurship. Nene has made a living through real estate, human resources consultancy, and government consultancy. She is passionate about causes that impact minority women and children. She currently owns a real estate business, Oakville Living with Nene, and co-runs a nonprofit foundation. I am, I can, and I will. With our 21-year-old daughter, Temi, 18-year-old son, Tife, and our 24-year-old niece, Olympia. Nene is on the board of One Girl Can, I Am, I Can, I Will, and more recently was elected the vice chair of the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce, CBCC. Nene loves to read, watch movies, and travel in her spare time. So join me as I welcome Nene Akintan.
Thank you so much. You know, sometimes when I listen to people introduce me, I say, "Oh, who is that really? Is that really me?" Exactly.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Oh my God. I'm like, talk about achievements.
But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So apart from what we have read, anything you want to add so we can know behind the scene?
The most important thing to me is my family. My husband, my 3 children, who you mentioned, Temi, Tife, and Olympia. My husband's name is Bode. And also my siblings, my mom, my in-laws, and my friends. So those are very key. So all of these accolades and all of these things, they're good. I mean, I love to read, I love to do all that, but I think the most important thing to me is family.
It's really important. It's really important because at the end of the day, especially for me, I'm an immigrant, and sometimes I feel so homesick because I don't have family members here. So I could understand family is really important. They help you at all points of your life. And even when the entire world turned their back against you, most of the time it's your family that is here, cheering you on. So yeah, so today, guys, as you come in, please give your host a thumb up, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and show us some love. So today the topic is recognizing your values. This is like really, really big issue, and especially among people of color, among immigrants. It is a big issue. A lot of people don't recognize their values, and that's why I thought to talk about this more so that people can know their self-worth and what they carry. So without further ado, I'm just going to be going with the questions that I have. So oftentimes people base their values on their skin color, what brands they wear, how much money they have, how many followers they have on social media. And drawing from your own experiences, what is self-value? What is self-worth?
Thank you. That's a very good question. First of all, I'm going to talk about where my values come from. And my values come from my socialization. My kids always say, anytime I use that word socialization, they're like, oh my God, they roll their eyes because it's one of my favorite words. My first degree was in sociology and anthropology. So I looked up the definition of socialization online, which means from Good Therapy. And goodtherapy.org says, socialization is a process of acquiring social skills, cultural norms, and societal customs. Now, this process will continue throughout your lifetime, but socialization plays a significant role when you're a child. So things like how you interacted with friends and family, how your parents insisted you obey the rules, things like being rewarded for chores or being reprimanded when you don't do the right thing, and being taught how to behave in public. Those are all examples of socialization. So my values, like I said, come from my socialization growing up as a child and as an adult. So for me, values are as a result of what you are exposed to, what was modeled, what was acceptable. So not everything we are exposed to is good, but good comes out of everything, or good can come out of everything we are exposed to. I'll give you a case in point in my background. So polygamy. My father had 12 children by 4 women. He married my mom. My mom was the first wife, and he had 12 children. So he also married another lady who I refer to as my stepmother, and my 2 other moms, 2 other ladies who, even though my dad didn't marry them, I just regard them as my stepmoms as well. And in fact, I spoke to my stepmom yesterday. She's in Atlanta with my sister who had a baby. So when people hear me say polygamy, they gasp. So Nigerians, even non-Nigerians, but Caucasians gasp all the more because polygamy is not normal. Now, I'm not advocating for polygamy, let me be clear. But what I'm trying to say is not everything we are exposed to is good, but good can come out of everything we are exposed to. So I grew up in a loving, awesome family. It was polygamous. It was normal where we come from, which is Nigeria. But the good that came out of that experience was I had a large family. I had 12 siblings growing up. And my father taught us the importance of unity. So we are from different mothers. We didn't live in the same house, but we are united. And that is my father's legacy. So to me, when I hear people talk about not speaking to their siblings, it's strange. So did we have a kumbaya? Everything was good? No, we had our squabbles. But polygamy, which is not the most usual dynamic, was good in my circumstance because of the unity. And to some extent, it has formed my expectations for my kids. So my kids squabble, they quarrel, but at the end of the day, I expect them to come back together. So this is what I refer to as your socialization and your values. So your values come from what you learned. So unity is a big thing for me. So people base their values on their skin color. Yes. So I will draw from my experience to tell you what the value of self-worth really means. I'll start off by telling you a story. One of my closest friends in university was very light-skinned. And in fact, today is her birthday. So happy birthday, darling, if you happen to
birthday.
She's my sister, my mother. So she was light-skinned. And when we were in school, you know, we want to leave the campus to go to the grocery store. We'll stand by the road waiting for a cab, because in Nigeria, you stand by the road, you flag a cab, just like what you do in New York, right? Mm-hmm. We'll push her in front. Why do you tell me? Why do Fike? So I will call you Fike. And the reason why I like Fike is my sister is the first Fike. My sister-in-law is the first Fike I know. I know another sister Fike, and you're the third Fike I know. So I'm going to call you. I know you are that proud Black woman, but I'm going to call you. So just, would you permit me to call you Fike just for this show?
Absolutely, that's my name.
So why do you think we pushed her to the front when we were waiting for taxis? Take a guess.
I would assume, from my experience, because I'm more dark-skinned, I would assume because she's lighter and people tend to see that as attractive from my experience. So you would think, well, when people say they'll stop faster.
Exactly, you got it. We put her in front because we knew that somebody would stop and offer us a ride because she was light-skinned and, like you said, considered the most attractive. Now, back then, that wasn't an issue because, I mean, for us, we were 4 musketeers. So the 3 of us didn't feel less than because of that. We just actually thought it was an advantage and it was a joke. But it's a different story today, though. Social media has changed everything. So you refer to likes on social media and so on. Social media has changed everything. It's about light skin. It's about how many followers you have. It's about what brands you're wearing and all of that stuff. Now, all of these things are relevant. Let's not kid ourselves. But the degree of relevance depends on the individual. It depends on who you are. So yes, they see one of the Jenners, I think it's Kylie Jenner. She has a billion followers, or she's a billionaire, or some. I mean, her name is Kylie Jenner, right? The Kardashian girl. That's her name,
Yes,
right?
I
Kylie
think
Jenner.
so.
Yeah. So they see the number of likes she has. They follow her. They want to do things she does. They want to buy her brands. So yes, that's all relevant, but it depends on you. So you may, you may be interested in things like that, but you have to put it in perspective. Now, I have 3 kids, my 18-year-old son, 21-year-old daughter, and my niece, my 25-year-old niece. And I hear them refer to my son, their brother/cousin, as light-skinned. Apparently, light-skin has some kind of credence in their world. And we did in mine, but in a different kind of way. And when we talk about brands, my husband has always said that growing up, he didn't even know what a brand was. And he turned out okay. And I dare say that my husband turned out more than okay, because he is extremely successful and good at what he does. So what's my point? Brands are okay, but you have to be able to afford them before you start obsessing about them, or you're going to steal. That's just the long and short of it. I love brands. I've always loved brands, but my brands are around bags and shoes and belts, but not around clothes. I buy a Walmart top, I pair it with my branded belt and a pair of jeans from Winners, and I'm good to go. That to me is style. So everybody, you have to kind of put it in perspective. You don't just say, okay, because Kylie Jenner is wearing that brand, I must do whatever it takes to get it. You can strive to do that if you want, but you have to have your priorities right. So, but me, I'm a 53-year-old woman. What do I know? So I may just from my 53-year-old perspective. So the sense of self should not come from material things, is really what I'm trying to say. Yes. My values are from what I learned growing up. Now, my parents were successful, although my parents grew up in poverty, but they were successful. So I grew up in affluence, but it didn't make me blind to the need to work hard, because I saw my mother work extremely hard. My mother was successful. She was always aspiring to do better. She started as a school secretary actually was her first job in London. Then she went to school. She became a teacher. She became a school principal, then a government appointee, then a volunteer. She's now a retiree, but before she retired, she got her PhD. So self-worth to me is my sense of self, irrespective of what is going on around me. But it is self-worth and value. Self-worth is a function of your value. And it's something that you have to practice and always be intentional. So it's kind of like muscle memory, right? So yes, brands are important. Yes, people value skin color, but and how much money you have too, and how many followers you have on social media, but what does it mean to you as a person? That is the most important thing. So don't try to be a Jones by trying to be like the next person. Bleach your skin. You can bleach your skin if that's your choice, but remember there's cancer around the corner. Bleaching of skin, just saying. So, with my friend Abby, who was very light skinned, because she's not even biracial. She's like a 5th caste, because her great grandmother was biracial. But I could have decided to be bleaching my skin because my friend was very light and I wanted to be what she was or get the attention. But no, sense of self comes from within you. Yeah. So I don't know if I've kind of answered that question.
Yeah, that actually does answer even more than I thought it would. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people, I think it's due to pressure from especially now you talked about social media, pressure from the social media. They want to take photos. They want people to see them in a certain light. So they put themselves under that pressure of like trying so hard to fit in.
Yeah.
And getting their own value. I was watching something on YouTube the other day, and the guy was talking and said people wear so many brand names that they forget their own name. And I related to that. It was like you wear so many brand names that you forget your own name. So he's not saying you shouldn't wear something really nice, but always remember your own name and remember what you stand for, your own value, your worth. And that's really important. So thank you so much for that. And my next question is, there's a common saying that if you don't know your value, you will sell yourself short. What does this mean to you? And how can we as individuals, as BIPOC people, and as immigrants, be able to recognize our values and stand firm in it? Because why I ask this question is a lot of people, especially in this part of the world, because they are Black or because they are persons of color, they already feel so less of themselves. When they're going for job interviews, they already assume the worst of it, that, oh, they're not going to give me. So they start to practice their English and trying to do away with their accent and trying to dress in a different way and make their hair in a different way, because they feel that they don't know their value. They feel if they act more like a white person, maybe they'll get the job. So this is why I'm asking this question, because when you're leaving, especially when I've talked to a couple of people coming from Nigeria, and they're already thinking about going for survivor jobs because they don't care about what they have to offer. They already have that in their mind, because people have been telling, oh, if you come here, it's not easy, oh, my brother. If you come here, you have to wash dead body. You have to work in a cold room and all of that. So they already have that, and they forget all they've worked for all their life to achieve that status. So that's why I'm asking this question, like, how do we recognize our values as immigrants, as BIPOC people, and as individuals generally, and stand firm in it?
Great question, especially for immigrants. Great question for everybody. Everybody can learn from this. But I think as an immigrant, our story is unique. And I think Chimamanda said it once in one of her speeches. What did she say? Something about the single story. Not everybody's story is the same. So it's not the same for everybody. But today I was on social media earlier today, and I was on Instagram, actually. I follow this Nigerian actress called Dakore. And she has a quote which I want to read. She said, "Truly powerful women don't have to explain why they want respect. They simply don't engage with those who don't give it to them." This is a quote by Sherry Agov. The original quote says, "Truly powerful people don't have to explain why they want respect. They simply don't engage with those who don't give it to them." And then I think she coined it to also say truly powerful women. And I agree with that. So, if you don't know your value, you sell yourself short. So, yes, this quote got me thinking. I mean, I already knew what I was going to say about this, but this quote got me thinking about the importance of being powerful and owning who you are and not selling yourself short. As an immigrant, when you come into this country, let me speak for myself. I was embarrassed by my accent. So back home in Nigeria, I had a business in Abuja, and I used to travel back and forth. It was a boutique, so I used to travel back and forth. But so then my accent it wasn't something I thought about. But when I came into Canada as an immigrant, I was embarrassed by my accent. But as I go along, I got to realize that nobody will respect me till I respect myself. No one will value me till I value myself. Yeah. So when you come into Canada, right, you have to adapt to the situation. I'll give an example. My husband trained as a physician in Nigeria, and he was working in one of the hospitals in Lagos, a well-known hospital. And then when we decided to come to North America, we knew that he was going to have to, what's the word? I'm thinking of the word, not recertify, but he was going to have to not requalify. Well, yeah, actually, requalify is the word. But in doing that, he stood firm in who he was. You stand firm in who you are, right?
Yes.
You may have to do some things that you don't want to do when you get into the country. So you hear all the stories. Fortunately for me, I never heard all the stories because coming to live in North America was not on my radar. This was coming because of my husband, but it's the best thing that we could have ever done. But sometimes you have to do certain things to move forward. So you hear about washing dead bodies and all of that. Some people do that. But in doing all of that, you have to love yourself. So my father used to say to me, "Nene, love yourself." So then I would laugh. My father is an Igbo man, blessed memory, but he would say, "Nene, love yourself, not yourself, yourself." He was an Igbo man. And I would laugh, saying, "Of course I love myself." But truth be told, then I didn't. I allowed people to treat me in all kinds of ways, take advantage of my kindness, use me for my body sexually. And even when I provided a service to people, I'll feel like I needed to tell them thank you for providing them the service. And I was walked all over. I was bullied. I was treated unfairly. I didn't know how to deal with it. And I also fell into depression, had a rough time. I was never suicidal, but it was tough. I cried a lot. I obsessed about how people experienced me. And then people experienced me as angry and quarrelsome because I was angry. I was depressed. I didn't know why people were treating me this badly. I was crying out to people for help, but all people saw was an angry, quarrelsome person. Then I went into therapy and things changed. Couple that today with my prayers, and I hear my father's words ringing in my head saying, Nene, love yourself. And I would say to myself, damn right I will.
Yeah.
So as an immigrant and as a person of color, BIPOC as we're called, indigenous people of color, you need to know who you are, recognize your value and stand in it. And what does that mean? Nobody would recognize your value. I said it before, if you don't recognize it. Nobody will respect you if you don't respect yourself. And you don't have to be loud shouting to be respected. In fact, I have an ongoing thing with my son. He's the last in the family. And I think culturally, growing up in Nigeria, the last in the family never really had a voice. So they'll say, I keep quiet, your older sister is, your boy is speaking, or the Ada is speaking. What are you? So that was my culture, and that's our culture. So sometimes growing up when he was a child and he says, we'll be like, you're the last child, keep quiet, let other people talk. And that has not been, he's grown up resenting that. So just yesterday we had a little, not little actually, we had a blowout because I had said something to him and he said, Mommy, you're disrespecting me, he's 18. And my first thing was to say, keep quiet, I'm the parent. What do you mean by disrespecting you? But I have to be intentional. So you do not have to be loud to be respected. You have to produce. What does that mean? Refine yourself. Refine your craft. As an immigrant, do the hard work. Produce and you'll be respected. Recognize your values and stand firm. So let your work speak for you. Let your honesty speak for you as an immigrant. Let your integrity speak for you. If you have an interview at 1 p.m., get there at 12:30. Don't be like me. I struggle a lot with my time, but I'm a work in progress and I'm doing better and better and better at it. So you have an interview, do the research on the company. Ask genuine questions. Don't ask the contrived questions because you feel you should ask a question. Be authentic. Be your authentic self. Some people say you do not have to, you have not seen anger. People say that to me. You have not seen anger. That is why you can sit here and say this. That may be true. I may not have seen hunger, not anger, hunger. I may not have seen hunger. But however, whether you've seen hunger or not, honesty, integrity, tenacity, and a spirit of excellence will never fail you as an immigrant. So know your self-worth as an immigrant. Does it mean you shouldn't do the other jobs to get up where you are? No, that's not what I'm saying. I, in the past, had applied for jobs in Walmart to be a shelf stocker. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I thought it was something I needed to do to get to where I needed to go to. But in doing that, I was refining myself. I keep talking about spirit of excellence. In fact, my daughter is tired of me talking spirit of excellence. Every time I say it, she'll be rolling her eyes. But she's in that part of her life where she does not care much about what people say about her or how they experience her. She's being herself more and more because she's seen me model people walk all over me. And she's seen me model having a sense of self and respecting myself more. So that's what she's doing. So now she used to be a people pleaser, but now, like me, she will say, damn, mama, I love myself. And she's not saying it out of arrogance. She's not saying it because she's proud, but she's saying it because of I value myself. And if you want to be in my space, you must value me, or it's bye-bye Felicia, or bye-bye Sayonara, or whomever it is. So as a person of color, don't sell yourself short. That doesn't mean don't do what you need to do. It means refine yourself. So like my husband who came in here, he was a doctor in Nigeria, but he came in here, he had to do more. I came in here, I had to get another master's. I already had my MBA from Nigeria. So refine yourself. But even with my MBA from Nigeria, I was ready to go and work in Walmart because there's nothing wrong in working in Walmart. Like I said, my parents came from poverty, but my father became a physician. My mother became successful in all the things she chose to do. But they did it taking one step at a time. So yes, as an immigrant, recognize, as anybody, recognize your value, hone your craft.
Yeah. So we're still going to talk more about immigrants and all of that in later, but this talking about people pleasers, this kind of tied into my next question. That was why I was smiling when you were talking about it, that your daughter said, I love myself, I'm not going to please anybody anymore. So that ties into my next question, which is a lot of people attribute lack of self-value or self-worth to desperation, trying to fit into a everyone, right? So do you believe this is true, and what is your take on it?
Well, yes and no. It's part of this and part of what was modeled to you as a child growing up. So, like I said, my daughter used to be like me. She puts her needs last and puts everyone else's first and not anybody. Her needs are front and center now, and that is great. Trying to fit in with a certain group or trying to please everyone as a people pleaser. Sometimes people do that, like you said, out of desperation. And it's, like I said, it's half and half. So you feel so low, right? You feel so like you're not worthy. You feel you're not worthy. That's why you're striving to fit in with whomever it is you're trying to fit into, whatever group it is. And we need to change. You need to change that rhetoric. You need to change it because every one of us is unique. Like I said, I'm God's unique creation. That's the most important thing to me. I didn't know that when I was feeling less than. I didn't know that then. But as I've grown older, as I've come to love myself, I've come to know that I am unique. So my daughter is strong. It's not because she's arrogant. She's actually calm like her dad. She doesn't talk too much. I mean, she's calm. Her father is calm, so she's calm. My son, on the other hand, is like me. He's very feisty. He talks, and he doesn't care about what people say about him. And for somebody that young, he's gone through a lot in his young life, but he's shining through it, and it's thrilling to watch him shine through it. So sense of desperation is something you can work through, right? Don't struggle to fit. I know it's difficult for teenagers, especially young adults.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. They're trying to find their way. But you have to know yourself, and it comes down to what we do with our kids at home. It comes down to what we model to them. If we talk down to them, like I gave you the example of how we used to say to our son, you're the last, and we don't say it in those words, but it's kind of, you say it in your actions and your attitudes, and you as we have some of those flaws, right? And we say those things. So we have to be careful how we speak to our kids so that they don't feel this lack of self-worth, or and they're not desperate to be part of a clique, especially if your child is Black, especially if your child is a minority. We have to, because the world outside knocks them down already. Yeah. So we have to try as much as we can within the home to provide a safe space for them. If I know what I know now, there are a lot of things that would change, bringing up my kids. But for me, we learn every day. There are some things I won't have said, like, oh, when you ask your child to do something and they say, why? You say, it's because I'm your parent. That's why. Because that's what I heard when I was a kid. So I had to learn that that's not the way. So if you know your worth, you will not be desperate to fit in with the Joneses. Trust me, I know, because I was there. I tell my kids that the greatest revenge is massive success. Think about it. We hear stories about successful people who were under the radar when they were younger. Sometimes they were even mediocre. But look at them now. We have to learn how to do us. So do you. Give it your best and leave the rest. Leave the rest. So this lack of self-value or self-worth is something that we really need to be intentional and work at every single day. So yes, I believe this is true, but it's part of that, and it's also part of what was modeled to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And just, I also have like a couple of examples, because you mentioned something about this. If your child is a person of color, the society has brought them down a lot, and you have to do your best to not talk down at them and to encourage them and all of that. So about a week or 2 weeks ago, my son was so moody, and I was wondering what happened to him. So he said, well, my head is big. And I said, who said your head is big? He said, the big kids in my school. And it's 5. It's 5 years old. So it's not just teenagers that feel that way. And I said, no, your head is not big. He said, yeah, but I've seen it on video, because he has a YouTube where he has a YouTube channel. So he said, I've seen it on video. And I said, no, your head is not big. But he believed what those bigger kids in the school said. So I had to actually pick him up, and I showed him the mirror. I said, look at yourself. You're very handsome. You're very handsome. Your head is not big. It's proportional to your size. I said, you see those people that said your head is big? They're just jealous. They're just jealous. They don't have a cute head as you. So I just tried to hype him up. And I said, look at you. And I was tickling him, and he was laughing, right? So, but in my mind, I felt sad. I felt like, why is he going through that? It's just 5 years old. Why should he go through that? Because kids are mean sometimes. And sometimes it boils down to how you how you talk to your kids, how you bring them up, because then they go to school and say those kind of things and hurt other people. So when my son came up, I felt so bad, but I didn't let that show. I just, hyped him up and said, oh, your head is really beautiful and all of that, and it's proportional to your size. They're just jealous of you and all of that. And I said, but it is not okay to retaliate. It's not okay to say that back to other people. So I said, do you know how it made you feel when somebody told you your head was big? He said, yes. I said, how did it make you feel? He said, sad. I said, so you see, that's how it will feel if you say to other people. So don't think it is okay to say that to other people. But after that, I called the teacher and gave the teacher a piece of my mind. You better go warn those kids, right? Good. So, but I boosted his confidence, and he was happy about it. Now he's not complaining. So 2 days ago again, I picked him up. He came home with somebody's gloves that was cut off. And I said, who gave you the gloves? Oh, a friend of mine. Apparently, some people have been cutting off the tip of their gloves to show off. And she said, the friend, I said, you can't accept things for your friend. You have to return it. Oh, but I like it. But I said, then you come to me and I will buy yours for you. So the dad has a gym gloves that he always wears. I said, okay, you can take that to school. So he took it to school. And then when I came to pick him up yesterday, I saw him already wearing. So I was like, oh, you show off. Sorry, my son just came in. Go.
Hey. No, we should see him. Come on.
Come. Come here. Come.
Say hello to him. We're talking about him, right? What's his name?
Say hello, Agam. Say
hello.
You are so cute. Oh my God. What's your name?
Darren.
Darren. Hello, Darren. Nice to meet you. My name is Nene Akintan.
Hello, Auntie Nene.
Hello, Auntie Nene.
How old are you?
5.
Oh my God, you look like you're 10. You are a big 5. Are you being a good boy to mommy?
Yes.
Good. And how is school? How is school?
Bye-bye.
Oh, you're going? How is school? Are you enjoying school?
Yes.
Good. Do you go into school now, or you are doing it virtually?
I go to school now.
Okay. All right. Enjoy yourself. Good boy, okay? Love yourself and love your mama too. It's so cute. Oh my God.
Thank you.
I need some paper.
So when I picked him up, I said, the gloves. Okay, you can take it and leave, please. So,
now I just need a blue paper, like 2.
I love this.
So I think.
Oh my God, enjoy him because when you go to this old age, you see them again.
Yeah, I knew at some point I was going to come in.
Oh, that's good. I love that. So cute.
So I told him, I saw him with the gloves. I said, oh, you little show off. Look at you already with your gloves and everything. And then if he was looking sad, I said, but nobody said it's cool. And I said, yeah, they don't have to tell you it's cool. I said, is it cool to you? He said, yes. I said, well, remember what I told you? Sometimes people are jealous. I said, yeah, I think they were jealous because they were all looking at it and nobody said it was cool. I said, if it's cool to you, that's all you need. You don't need other people's validation. Do you understand that? If you like something, you don't need to care about what other people think. It's how it makes you feel. So I told him, I said, you see my hair? I said, a lot of people don't like it. Even grandma don't like it because they'll be like, you're a married woman. Why do you have your hair short? I said, but it makes me feel good. I like it. That's all that matters. I said, so if it makes you feel good, that's all that matters. Don't wait for their validation because it will make you sad if you're waiting. And it cheered up again. So I really, I believe in what you said, that it's how we bring up our kids and it's the values we instill in them, because it grows with them. So thank you so much for
Yeah,
for that.
I agree. I
Now,
agree.
my next question, I already said with the immigrants, we're going to come back to that in more details. So,
Mhm.
as immigrants, a lot of people, due to what they have, what they've heard about difficulties of Black immigrants getting a white collar job, come into this country to settle for any available job. So, this is like they're not even thinking, okay, I have this degree, I can. They're already thinking, I'm coming for survivor job. And it's not just Nigerians, because I have on Facebook, I'm in different kinds of groups, and there are people that are from India as well, and they'll be asking me, they're also lawyers and they're immigrating to Canada. And they're already asking what kind of survivor jobs can they do? That's the way they call it, survivor jobs. And I said, why don't you think about getting a job as a legal assistant? You will
Mhm.
be able to get it with your experience while you work through your licensing process. And they were like, really? But they said that's what's available, and that's because of what the mindset they have, right? Because they are
Yeah.
not trying with what
Mhm.
they have. They're already thinking, I have to settle for something. So when they come into the country, they want to settle for any job, no matter what level of education or achievement that they have. So what advice can you give to new and aspiring immigrants on this type of mindset?
Well, it- it's a double-edged sword for me. So social media is a great one, right? With social media, it gives us a lot of information, but it's also scary too. Some of the information is scary. We came to Canada in 20. Timmy is 21 now. We came when she was 6 months, so that's like 21 years ago, I think. Okay, so we came in 20 years ago. So I didn't have access to as much social media then as we do now. So we just came in like okay, we're going to Fagbu it anyhow we can. But you make a good point. You make a good point around the fact that there are other things you can do. It doesn't have to be a washing dead body job, as you said earlier, or a blue collar job. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you need to do. Because I always say, hey, Afoma. Oh, I'm seeing the comments. Hello, guys. Hi, everybody. Everybody's saying your son is so handsome. He is actually.
Thank you, everybody.
So I have a question. If you have mouths to feed and you need a roof over your head, would you say I'm an engineer and I won't do any work below my qualification? No, you wouldn't. You would do what you need to do. If you can find a legal assistance job as a lawyer while you're trying to do your qualification and be able to practice law here, by all means, please go for it. I'm always for if you can work smarter. But if the job you find is as a stocker in Walmart, like the one that I was trying to get, if that's all you have while you're practicing, while you're trying to get your licensing done, do it. Don't say you are not going to do one or the other. However, that's not the only job out there. It's not only the blue collar jobs that are there for new immigrants. You can get a white collar job. My niece, actually, no, she's not my niece, she's my second cousin. My mother's sister, my mother's niece's daughter. So she's my second cousin. She came into Canada about 2 years ago. She did her whole process, the immigrant process. She did it herself. That's another thing I tell people, do your research. She did it herself. She came in, she worked as a volunteer in some organization, and then she got a job right after that. So she never had to work in any factory. She never had to do anything like that. She never had to do a blue collar job. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with doing
Wrong with it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but if that's what if you can do what she did and get it the other way, do it. Now, my husband, like I said, trained as a physician. When he came here, he did a PSW job. My husband was a PSW. He was a telemarketer. I worked in a car rental in Scarborough. I would take 4 buses in the morning from Mississauga and 1 train to get to work, right? But we did that because we knew we had to survive and we had to survive legally. So you have a goal, work towards it. But like I said, if you can get that white collar job, do it. Whatever job you can get that's legal, do it because you have your goal. I'll give you my niece, for example. She she lives in Vancouver now. She just moved to Vancouver like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So she came to Canada from Nigeria to go to high school. She finished high school, went to university. She went to Toronto Film School, and then she started working. She got a lot of jobs, like right out of school, because she was excellent, which is another thing you have to do. You have to have that spirit of excellence. So she got a job on a Disney movie set. What was the job? Making sure everybody that came to set was getting tested for COVID.
Yeah.
But the way she did it with so much passion that everybody knew her. While she was on that job, she got a job with Ryan Reynolds on a movie Ryan Reynolds was doing in Vancouver as an intern, and then she continued in Vancouver. What's my point? My point is you have to do your own work. You have to refine yourself, whether it's white collar, blue collar, whatever job you're doing, do it to the best of your ability. But having said that, that mentality of, oh, they say it's only blue collar job I can get when I come to Canada. You have to do your research. Why are you depending on other people to tell you what you can do?
Story, I know.
A laptop, the same way you are reading it on social media or the same way you are talking to someone on the phone, just type it in. Look for the different types of job you can do as an immigrant. Just type jobs for immigrants. It will take you time, but you'll find it. So don't depend on other people. I always tell my children, don't be collecting information from other people. You're getting it said second hand, third hand, fourth hand. It might not be the accurate information. So that's really what the advice I would give to new or aspiring immigrants with this type of mindset. Don't depend on what other people are saying. Do your research and find out what you can do. You can get a white collar job or a blue collar job, but just do your research.
Thank you. So using myself as an example, when I came to Canada as well, I never had the mindset of I had to do blue collar job. But I knew that I had to requalify because I'm a lawyer. Most of the time, if you're a professional, you have to requalify when you go to a new country. If we were doing, if you had like other profession, you might not need to. But as a lawyer, I know wherever I go, even in the US, if you go from one state, you have to requalify in another state. I already knew that.
It's the same with one state to another. You have to requalify.
Yeah. So when I came to Canada, I already had some savings and I was using those savings, but I was also looking for job. But when I couldn't find job on time, I decided to go into factory. I went as to an agency and I registered. But that didn't define me. That didn't define my self-worth. But one thing I didn't do is coming in and thinking I don't have any value here and I just have to do only sweeping the gutters and stuff, because I did it because I needed the money to survive. Yeah. But I didn't say that's the end of it. I kept looking for the kind of job that I wanted, and I kept trying to do my licensing, which by God's grace, I just got licensed last year, August. So it's continue to build yourself. Don't think less of yourself because of what other people have said. The truth is that might have been their experience, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will be your experience. So don't take their word for it.
Exactly.
Do your own work, as you said.
Just to add something to that, I have a mentee, two mentees actually. I was talking to one of them yesterday, and I said to her, we're talking about creating a vision board. So I said to her, create your vision board, put in the middle what is your primary goal. So you came into Canada, what's your primary goal? Is it getting your law certification? You put it in there. Everything else comes out of that. So whether you're doing a blue collar job or a white collar job or yellow collar, whatever it is you're doing, it flows out of that. So that is to achieve that goal, that your primary overarching goal. So it's not, like my son actually was doing a job actually in a factory. He wakes up at 5:15 to get there for 5:45 in the morning. And it's like a 30-minute drive. He's in school too, but he's doing that at the same time. So it gives you, and I'm sure it wasn't where you wanted to be. It met your goals at the time, but it also kept you grounded.
Yes.
It kept you grounded. My mother tells me the story of when she was in London at the first time. She and her sister used to clean toilets in the tube station. She would say to me, oh, we used to clean toilet. And she said it with joy. She's like, oh, we used to clean toilets there. Oh my God, it was so funny, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, you have to do certain things to achieve legal things. I keep using the word legal because people get into all kinds of crazy stuff, but I'm not going to talk about that today. But if it means going to work in a factory, you're going to do it because you have an overarching goal. Don't stay there and be like, okay, I'm going to be there for the rest of my life. No,
exactly.
So,
yeah, exactly. My where I was driving at, like, don't think that's the most you can get. Don't stay like you, as you said, it's like an overarching goal. So I'm doing this because I want to achieve this. Don't just do it and then stay stagnant there, because you have worked so hard to get that education. You've worked so hard to get all those experiences. It matters. No matter what people say, it matters. So if you don't put yourself out there, you're never going to achieve anything. So that's really important. So that mindset, I just want people to know that you're more than that. So don't settle. Always keep striving for the best, and it will come your way at some point. As I said, I just got qualified. I haven't gotten a law job yet, but I'm still trying to improve myself daily and daily. And I know that slowly but surely, I'm going to get there where I want to be because I have a goal. So yeah, so which leads on to the next question. Which leads us to the next question. I have read in some articles that to recognize your value requires you to level up. Whatever that means, you're going to explain to us. It requires you to level up. To some of us that do not understand what the statement means or how to achieve it, can you please shed light on how we can level up in different facets of our lives?
Level up.
Level up.
So, level up and scale up, right? I just heard it for the first time during COVID and post-COVID, but apparently it's been around for some time. But well, like I always say, who am I? I don't know. I'm not as modern as some people. So, what does level up mean? So, I had to do some research actually. Simply put, it means to improve your current situation in a way that feels like a powerful shift. And it starts with a change in thought and a shift in mindset, followed by a brave action. And I got this from mindtools.com. So, if this is what it means to level up, I'm all for it because we should not be stagnant. So, level up means improve your current situation in a way that feels like a powerful shift. And it starts with a change in your thought. How do I think about myself? You can level up in your personal life, mentally, spiritually, and physically. What do I think about myself? Do I put myself down? Shift in thought, a shift in your mindset. Can I do this? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Sorry, not everybody's a Christian, but I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do this, the spirit of excellence, and followed by the brave action. So you think it. You think it. So there's something that says, what you think becomes what you feel becomes what you do, or something like that. So what I say to people when you say, can I shed light on how people can level up in different facets of their life? I've talked about your mental mind shift, about who you think you are. Another thing, career-wise, or in whatever it is you're doing business-wise, prepare your elevator speech. If you want to level up, if you want to improve your current station in a way that feels like a powerful shift, prepare your elevator speech. I read a book, oh my God, is it Outliers? It's a Malcolm Gladwell oh God, I can't remember the title. Malcolm Gladwell. I'll remember the title before we're done. I'm looking at my library here. It's a Malcolm Gladwell book. He wrote Outliers, but this book is called David and Goliath. He talked about a guy who met somebody in an elevator or in a car? Anyway, prepare your elevator speech. Be ready when chance favors your prepared mind. What does that mean? I tell my young adult children to have their elevator speech ready. What is an elevator speech? It's a brief but persuasive speech that you use to spark interest in what you do. You can also use it to create interest in a project, an idea, or a product, or in yourself. How long is an elevator speech? It's as short as an elevator ride. That's why it's called an elevator speech. 20 to 30 seconds, maximum 1 minute. So you get into the elevator. If I get into, who do I love? I love Michelle Obama. If I get into an elevator with Michelle Obama, I know what I'm going to tell her. I know already because I have my elevator speech. So that is one way you can level up. You can also level up in your relationships. No, going back to your career. The reason why you do that is you never know when you're going to meet somebody. Chance favors your prepared mind. This guy I was talking about in David and Goliath, he met some guy who is into stocks. It was some guy, I think he's a stockbroker. I think he gave an elevator speech, or he met him in a cab. I can't remember what it was, but that set the trajectory for his life. And right today, he's a billionaire because of that. He had his elevator speech ready. It doesn't always work like this. It doesn't have to be in an elevator. It could be anywhere. So get your elevator speech ready. I say this all the time. I don't know if my kids have their elevator speech yet, but I say it to them enough times. I hope they do. So you can also level up in your relationships. If you feel that your relationship with your spouse, your significant other, or your kids or friends needs improving, level up. So I talked about this earlier. I had a favorite saying when my kids were younger and asked me why I asked them to do something one way rather than the way they wanted. I would say, because I say so. That answer needed to be leveled up. That's a terrible answer. So I leveled up because that answer makes no sense. But that's what I knew then. So now, instead of saying because I say so, we have a conversation about it. So when your relationship is not as good as you want it to be, you level up. For me, I started to read about parenting. I attended seminars. But you guys know what seminars are, right? Seminars are those things we used to go to before, where you can get up from your house, drive your car, or take the train, go to somewhere, sign in, sit down with other people and have a seminar. That's what that's what a seminar is.
Now
But
it's a Zoom
now
affair.
that's okay. That's okay too. But I attended those things, asked questions. I apologized to my kids when I felt I wronged them. I leveled up. Other relationship, if your relationship with your significant other is not where it's supposed to be, level up. Have conversations, read books, be introspective to say, where can I change? It's not always about you. It could be about the other person, but sometimes it's about us. So you level up. Another favorite thing about level up that I like, I mentioned it before, is level up in looking after yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually. And it starts with a change in your thought, your mindset, followed by a brave action. Do what makes you fulfilled and happy. Level up. This life is too short. COVID has taught me that this life is too short. So you improve yourself. So leveling up, again, it means to improve your current station in a way that makes you feel like that, in a way that feels like a powerful shift. It starts with a change in your thought, in your mindset, and followed by a brave action. And that's from mindtools.com. So that is what I'll say about level up. Level up, level up.
Ciara, level up, level up. Thank you so much. And talking about family and spouse and children, and when they're asking you questions, say, because I say so. Okay, I'm guilty of that. Because I'm your mom.
Please.
And it's so funny because when I was growing up, when my parents say, because I'm your mom, I keep quiet. But with my son, I don't know if it's because they're in Canada. He will say, that's so rude.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, what? You're talking, you're so disrespectful.
What does that even mean? Like, what does
Exactly.
that even mean?
And I still feel hurt. Like, really? You're still talking? You're still talking back? And then we go on. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this stuff. So I will try to change that and explain further, because this is why I told you today. Because then he gets mad and walks away and stuff like that. Because that's what I say. I'm like, because I said so.
That's what we
Because that's the African in me.
And
So I'm gonna try to work on that.
yeah, and this kind of also ties into what we talked about earlier about what we model to our kids. Because what we model to our kids ties into what their values are. So when we are saying to them, because I say so, that kind of gives a wrong impression about how you really should be relating and having conversations with people. Is a way you just shut them down. And we really shouldn't be shutting. That shouldn't be, our value should be around being loving, being, open. And of course you're gonna discipline your kids. I'm not saying don't discipline them, but the value should be around having a conversation and listening to people, so that's also another way you level up. Leveling up also helps you kind of have a value system, and this is around relationships, right? And have a value system that you model your value. My husband always says to me, what are your values? He used to say this to me like maybe 5 years ago. I'm like, what do you mean, what are my values? I know what my values are, but do you really know what your values are? Like, what are your values? What is important to you? Like, what is truly important to you? Like I said it earlier, everything about me centers around my family, my husband, my children, my siblings, my mom, my in-laws, and my friends. So what are your values? I think it's very important. What are your values?
Yeah, it's really important. And as I said, I've learned a couple of things now that I would also try to put into my daily life. Because come to think about it, if you don't give them those explanations, I know how I feel if I tell my boss something and he says, just do it. So
Mm-hmm.
they might feel the same way, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just still like maybe the African in me, because that's how we grew up. So I would try to do that. Just, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want, sorry to interrupt you, I want to say very clearly that our parents did the best with what they knew. So our African parents did the best with what they knew. So we are also doing the best with what we know. So they taught us, that's what they modeled. I mean, our parents modeled hard work, integrity, tenacity. That's my motto as a real estate agent. And I learned that from my parents. So yes, they would say things like, oh, because I say so. But on the flip side, they've taught me really serious, what do you call it? Serious life lessons. So we do the best with what we know. So we know that because I said so, he ain't gonna cut it with his kids.
Because like he always push back, like, what do you mean? So my final question, because we're running out of time. So before that, if anybody wants to like join into the live stream just to have host one or two questions, I just posted the link in there. But then the final question is just a general question, like any other advice that you can share with viewers on this topic, recognizing your values, that we haven't touched on in the previous questions.
Well, it's time for everybody else to talk. So you guys tell me, advise me. I don't know everything. So the kind of advice you guys listening have, or even you, Fike, any other advice you have, around recognizing our values, because we learn every day from everybody, right? So I really would like to hear from other people versus me talking. So
Yeah.
anybody,
So
yeah.
I just posted the link. If anybody wants to join, please click on the link and I'll let you in. Or you could just type, if your camera shy, you could
Yeah.
just type in there and I would put it on the screen.
Yeah.
But I'll just go through some of the comments that people have, and they recognize a couple of people. I can see Latoya Belfon, who is going to be our next speaker for next Saturday. So
Ooh,
look out for that. She's going to be talking to us about inspire to empower. That's a really huge topic
that's a
as well. And
reminder, Fike, so
yeah,
that yeah.
I
So,
will remind you. So I don't think I'm seeing any questions yet, but thank you so much for all the amazing advice that you've given us. Like, I'm going to go back to watch this video over and over again and take notes, because the truth is a couple of things that you said actually like hit home for me, and I was thinking, you know what, there's some I know that I need to change, but
mhm.
like, maybe I can get away with it. But now hearing it from you, I'm like, okay, you know what? I actually really need to work on those things, and I believe that should be everybody's attitude towards that, because we all have to level up. And me, I'm inclusion and diversity woman. Anything inclusion and diversity, I'm up for it. So I'm just concerned about people of color, Black people, like we should, if we don't have, like, if we don't level up, as you said, if we don't level up, then we're going to continue to be at the bottom of the ladder. If you don't recognize your values and like take the bold step to achieve these goals and be in executive positions and be in the government and be in things like that, then we'll always continue to be at the bottom of the ladder. And also one thing that I noticed with people is when you see people go for those positions, instead of you to cheer them on, you beat them down. I've noticed that within our community. So there was somebody that was going to go for, on my page, I put somebody up that wants to go for MP in the federal level. And people were just making fun of her. And I'm thinking, why are you making fun of her? Like, don't make fun of her. Yeah, they were like people that I know, like, oh, they're not going to vote for you. I said, but she has put, her name will always be out there. Would she win? I don't know. If she doesn't win, if she wins, it's still going to be for our advantage, because now she's put that, she has taken that bold step that I want to go for MP for this area of Canada, of Ontario, and all we need is support her. If you have financial support, support. If you have, just go and post on your social media or on your WhatsApp status, help out, not just because you can't take that bold step. Don't bring other people down. That's really important. We should always support people, no matter how crazy whatever they're saying is. Sometimes that you feel like it's not achievable, it's you just projecting your own fears upon them. This person has leveled up, so why don't you just level up with them? So it's
Exactly.
really important that we help people out and support, and especially people of color is really important. And we know that in fact, in the next 3, 4, 5 years, I want to see that the narrative begins to change about racism, about being more inclusive, about allyship. I want that to change, and how we can do it, no matter what platform you have, no matter how little it is, promote inclusion, promote allyship, promote all those things on your platform. And that's what will be my final word for today. If you have not subscribed to my channel, what are you doing? Please click the subscribe button right now. Give me a huge thumbs up. Leave a comment. Support me. If you can reshare this live, it was really impactful for me, and I believe for a lot of people too. You have gained one thing or the other. So don't be selfish. Share it with other people. Share, post it on your status, post it on your LinkedIn, post it everywhere. Let people also benefit from this. So that's where we're going to be ending this. Don't forget, next week, Saturday at 12 p.m., we're going to be having another powerful session with another powerful speaker. I bring you the best of the best, the creme de la creme. So please tune in. Thank you so much. And I love you all. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation at a very short notice.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been fun, and be intentional, everybody, in everything you do. It starts with you. Be intentional, one step at a time. So my name is Nene Akintan. I'm a wife, mother, mentor, speaker, author, realtor, and more importantly, God's unique creation. Thank you.
Signing out. And you know who I am, that proud Black woman. Love you all and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.
Thank you.